Hello, everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Network. It's Murph. It's Jacob Collins, and no, this is not the Open. This is the Formula Indy Series live from Mexico City. It's the Mexican Grand Prix for the Formula Indy crew, and we are excited to bring it to you from one of the coolest tracks in North America, the home of the Mexican Grand Prix. And Jacob, this is a unique facility in a lot of different ways, my man, fitting for such a unique series.
Yeah, nice and high, well away from the sea level. We talked about how they had to basically develop specific technology in iRacing to kind of model the very high elevation change and impact the cars appropriately. So, be interesting to see how that plays out here tonight.
You know, it most certainly will be. This is the 9th round of the Formula Indy Series that we're bringing you here today, Mexico City. There are 3 more, December 17th at Brands Hatch, January 7th at Indianapolis on the Oval, and then the finale, Watkins Glen, the full layout. That's going to happen on January the 14th. As far as standings go, there are 2 divisions in this series, and this is one of the most unique things about the Formula Indy Series. You've got the pro drivers. That's led by Gavin Sanders, 280 points. Alex Chilcutt, 11 markers back at 269. Logan Edwards, the old narc brain. I swear that boy can drive anything, Jacob. He is third on 205 points. But they split him up. And so based on iRating, you also have an amateur division. That's led by Nick Goyette, 119 points over Sarah Guerrera. Cody Claiborne is third. Then Hayden Herman, Zachary Smith, and Brandon Wimler will round out your top 6. And then finally, Jacob, there's a team championship too. The Melamo Dynasty team leads the championship. Eclipse Blue is just behind them, followed by Eclipse Comp. Stowe Maroon is in 4th place, and Rogue Rage rounds out the top 5. It seems like I've heard of them Rogue guys before, Jacob.
They get around.
They do indeed. So those are your standings. We are under qualifications as of right now. We're going to go ahead and jump on board. Who are we going to find? Let's find Logan Edwards here as he navigates the Circuit Hermanos Rodriguez, and we're going to give you a tour of the Speedway. We'll give you a tour of the Speedway on the roll bar of Logan Edwards. This track has one of the most unique features that you're going to see in any Speedway. It goes through a baseball stadium, Jacob.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's kind of the standout feature of the course in its modern configuration. We were talking before the race that historically they'd go around this stadium utilizing a turn not too dissimilar to Monza, the final turn of the Parabolica at Monza. I believe Mark's got the fun name for that one in his hat somewhere. Yeah,
it's called the Peraltada. Instead of running the full version, they take the detour through a baseball stadium called the Estadio GMP Seguros. It used to be known as the Faro Sol. The baseball stadium, it's not used for a baseball stadium anymore. It's permanently part of the race course. The ball club that competed here, the Diablos Rojos, they actually built a new stadium, and you'll see it on the right-hand side here on the other end of the course. So this track has not 1 but 2 baseball fields located inside of it. And really, if you look at an aerial view of this place, there are tennis courts. There's all sorts of stuff here because this is really the sporting center of Mexico City. They basically have everything here other than a massive soccer stadium.
That is absolutely true. In fact, the complex in which it is in. Also, hi, I am here and I am sick. It's Stephen Larkamp here. So it's entirely within a public park in Mexico City. I'm probably going to be butchering this. I'm sorry to my Spanish-speaking friends. Magdalena Mixhuaca Sports City. So in the southeast of Mexico City. So you of course have the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for racing. You have the Juan Esquida Sports Palace for basketball. The Agustin Melgar Olympic Velodrome for track cycling, the Fernando Montes de Oca Fencing Hall for fencing, really interesting addition there, and the Municipal Stadium for field hockey. So you have quite the mix of sports that you can have here.
Stevie, so good of you to join us, and Man, I want to reach out and hand you a Dayquil, brother, but it's good to hear your voice. The track record here.
Yeah, I got plenty of Advil, so I'm good.
There you go. The track record here, a minute 17:774. That is owned by Valtteri Bottas in a Mercedes-AMG W12 2021. We're nowhere near that. We're about 9 seconds off. Right now, you're still on board with Logan Edwards. He currently sits in 10th. Alex Chilcutt, a minute 26:421 is the current pace setter here in qualifying. And boys, that's just a hair slower than what an LMP1 car would do here.
It really is impressive and shows just how fast Indy cars can be. Of course, Formula One's in a whole different league compared to a place like this, especially since a lot of the F1 cars I've been seeing up here, especially with the relatively low wind resistance from being over 5,000 feet above sea level, you're doing about 230 miles an hour down the front straightaway here in a Formula One car. We're definitely not touching that with the Indy cars, but it's still a very fast circuit, and there's a lot of fun, challenging parts to it.
It is. This track is 17 turns in its current layout. I kind of refer to it as an improper layout. We're watching Logan Edwards 14, 15, and here he's going to hit turn 16 back into the back half of the Peraltada. I so very wish that they ran that entire corner there. I know why they can't. It's for safety reasons. Boys, I mean, I know why they can't do it, but I so very much love that corner. This track is very reminiscent of a Monza, where it's got a lot of long straights, and there are not a ton of heavy braking zones. Although, unlike Monza, it does have a couple. That long front straightaway gives into turn 1, which is a very hard 90-degree right-hander. You've also got turn 4. There's a long straight between turns 3 and 4. There's a very hard 90-degree left-hander at the end of that, turn 4, and then a quick flick back to the right at 5. And so there are at least 2, if not 3, if you want to count turn 12 into the baseball stadium, there are at least 3 distinct passing opportunities here, boys.
And it doesn't entirely hurt the cause there that the track looks a lot like Monza from a far away perspective at the very least. I think the main difference would be in the middle of the circuit. Imagine Monza if the Ascari chicane there had 5 corners instead of 3. So it's definitely a lot more technical in that sense than perhaps it's an inspiration track over in Italy. But this track, still very fast, very flowing, very challenging, and there's definitely some good passing opportunities to be had here. So I think these guys are going to have a really fun night.
They most certainly will. We'll go ahead and focus in on Alex Chilcutt. He is the current provisional pole sitter. Again, minute 26:421 for Chilcutt. And there he goes. We're right on board with him. You are hitting as you go through here. These cars are going to hit 185 miles an hour before they start breaking down into that first turn, and you'll go from 185 down to about 60 in these cars. Of course, a lot more downforce in a Indy car than in a Formula One car. The F1 cars here, they come here trimmed out basically with the Monza package.
Pretty much, and that's what you would need to do in a lot of instances here. It's hard to really justify adding too much downforce on the car there. I mean, sure, you'll be fast in the slower sections, but what are you going to be losing down the straightaways here, especially since they're so prevalent, and especially in the fast corners? So you're definitely going to have a fairly trimmed out wing package for, of course, it's a fixed setup series, so they're all running the same here, but it's definitely looking to be that straight line speed is the name of the game for a lot of these guys.
It most certainly is. And before we get too much involved in the racing, do want to thank the Sim Racing Warehouse. If you're looking to save some money with great prices and no sales tax, the Sim Racing Warehouse is your US-based shop for all of your sim racing needs. Just type in SR Warehouse in. I take it back. For a limited time, you can save with a 5% coupon, a 5% off coupon. Also, just type in SRW House in the coupon code section on checkout and save even more. Go to simracingwh.com to learn more today. Alex Chilcutt has pulled his car off, and And let's check in with our good friend Caleb Binsey, who appears to be doing a very, very well. I thought maybe he was going slow, but he is all kind of out of shape. And then maybe that's my eyes playing tricks on me, boys, as he navigates through the baseball stadium.
I was keeping an eye on him, in fact, and he actually went off in the fast S's on the in the middle of the course there. So that is a lap scrubbed off for Caleb Binsey. He'll be starting no better than 4th here tonight.
There you go. Red flags are out for the qualifying session. That means that we're about just ready to have a grid, boys.
All righty.
Now, I know I'm a poor substitute for Gary Godso, but Mr. Larkamp, if you want to read them out, you go right on ahead, brother.
Thank you very much. And on the pole, as we said, Alex Chilcutt looking very strong once again in this championship fight. He wants to reclaim the championship lead after losing it last time out at Gateway. Alongside him will be Titus Sherlock looking for yet another win there and staying in the championship hunt. So that 3:11, very, very close, about 0.02 of a second between Chilcutt and Sherlock. Row number 2 will be Jeremy Fairburn, been very fast all season, just has not had the luck strike in his favor. Maybe that can change here tonight in 3rd. Alongside him, Caleb Binsey, the defending series champion, will be 4th. Tanner DeFavis, the winner at Portland, will start 5th. Alongside Michael Costello, again very fast but snake-bitten much of the season, in 6th. Sophia Connell in 7th. Very good run for the 93 crew, alongside Kevin Tombas, number 48, in 8th spot. Logan Edwards been very strong this season, starts off 9th. He'll be alongside former series champion Nate Siefker, rounding out your top 10. Row number 6 will be Gavin Sanders, the championship leader, really looking to make big inroads tonight, starting 11th, alongside Logan Spath in the number 3. Row number 7 will be Ryan Sheehan and Pedro Mojica. I probably pronounced that wrong, my apologies. Nick Goyette and Byron Daly will be on row 8. Sarah Carrera and Zach Falm, row number 9. Row 10, Dan Maria and Kyle Mundell. And final row of the grid, Gabriel Aslan and Micah Mixer. Rounds out 22 cars taking the start here. Very small field for the series that we have seen lately, but perhaps a track that, since it's a fairly new circuit, not too many drivers are familiar with. And of course, we're getting close to the holiday seasons. Some drivers may be just taking it easy this winter season.
Well, and it could be too as we get less than 3 minutes to go in the session, Stevie and Jacob. It could be too. There's a lot of guys that don't own the track. This is not a circuit.
This is true.
This is not a circuit that I believe has appeared. And Jacob, you're one of the community grand poobahs, and maybe you can tell us. I don't believe this has appeared, at least to my recollection, in the IndyCar Open schedule. So this is not, I don't believe, a circuit that the officials have come to, and it could just be there are drivers that don't own it.
No, it did make a number of appearances throughout the iRacing service this season. I believe they utilized it in the Week 13 series, showing off the Indy Next machine. So it's gotten some good bit of use. Looking over preliminary schedules for next season, I believe it's being used a season high 20 times. Ooh. Of all the tracks that I was looking at in particular. So it's certainly going to see a good bit of use across its, I believe, 7 configurations they've got in the sim here. So quite a popular one heading off into 2026. So if you don't got it, it's a good one to pick up.
You know,
absolutely, and
most times I was going to say, not only we talked about the baseball stadiums and what field hockey and basketball arenas, all the stuff they got here. This track also has an oval configuration. They run stock cars here, and it's considered to be, if memory serves, it's considered to be one of the most dangerous ovals in North America.
It's definitely up there. I know there's one circuit on the, I believe it's the NASCAR Mexico Series. The NASCAR Mexico Series definitely has at least one circuit that has been rather notorious. I'm not sure if it is Hermanos Rodriguez. I'm trying to find which one it would be. But I do recall at least one track was particularly notorious there. But the NASCAR, formerly the Corona, and the NASCAR Corona Series, fitting name, honestly. Whoa, big wreck there in warm-ups there between two of the Team Eclipse cars. But yeah, like, they definitely do not fuss around, really. They don't mince words with their cars in the NASCAR Mexico Series. They go hammer and tongs, as we expect.
They do. The reason that makes the oval, the thing that makes the oval here so dangerous, is it's run counterclockwise like a regular oval circuit is, which is opposite direction, and that means that both corners are blind. And so
you're right.
You can't see around the baseball stadium for turns 1 and 2, and you can't see around the trees in the cutoff for turns 3 and 4. It is both corners are essentially blind, and that's what makes it so dangerous as an oval. To the point where when Formula E comes here, they put chicanes in the straightaways to ensure that the cars are slower. The stock cars don't have that concern, but Formula E they do put chicanes here to make sure the cars are slowed down before they go into those wide, blind, fast, sweeping corners. We are.
I have them. Go ahead.
We are done with the warm up, Stevie. So we're going to go ahead and find the grid.
Is everybody getting themselves ready? It's going to be 47 laps here in Mexico City, and I think this one's going to be a real interesting 47 laps to be sure, especially that long run down the front straightaway into turn 1. It's been a showcase for Formula One races in the past. Let's see what this lot can do.
So for those of you who are not familiar and maybe tuning into the Formula Indy Series for the first time, it's IndyCars, but it's run to Formula One rules. The tire change is in effect, so they do have to run the alternate and the primary one stint. We think this is going to be a two-stopper. And so because I am not somebody that's called a lot of these standing starts, we're going to let Mr. Stephen Larkamp, who is the experienced hand at this, describe to us what's going on here as we look over the front of this grid from the starting line.
I'll do the best I can in my not optimal state here, but it doesn't need to be optimal. We're going to have a great time. Green flag flies in Mexico. Alex Chilcutt trying to drag race down with Titus Sherlock. Sherlock's going to have the inside run there. They're side by side. Meanwhile, they're 3 wide behind them as they head down the front straightaway. Logan Edwards off to a fantastic start there. Chilcutt defends to the outside there. Titus Sherlock's on the inside. Clears it. Oh, locks up a break. Does Chilcutt get back at him around the outside? Yes, he does. Alex Chilcutt holds on to the lead. Fantastic start, meanwhile, for Logan Edwards. He is side by side with Caleb Bensi, who's also made a good start around Tanner DeFabis for 3rd.
I don't see any broken wings, broken pieces, broken parts. Stephen and Jacob, everybody safely through turns 1, 2, 3, now 4, 5, and 6. And we are already halfway through this lap. They're coming around what I call the grip of the speedway. This track, if you look at it, almost looks like a pistol. And the grip would be turn 6, and now they're headed back down toward the barrel. This track is very fast, very furious, through the quick lefts and rights up through turn 11, through turn 12, and we're getting ready to blast down a straightaway toward a baseball stadium, Stevie.
And heading down that front straight they go. Chilcutt still holding off Titus Sherlock. Sherlock is well up close to that gearbox there as they head into the stadium. Whoa, car way wide there. That's Tanner DeFabis. Did he get the wall? If he did, it was barely. He's still going, but Chilcutt now under pressure. Excuse me. Titus Sherlock on the move now. Trying to get to the inside, not quite enough. Chilcutt's going to lead that first lap.
Chilcutt leads the first lap. We're going to take a look at Tanner DeFabis. He did run it wide into the baseball stadium. Here he is. He's behind the old Nart brain. That's Logan Edwards there in the Luke Mansky Racing Esports machine. And here he comes. It looks like he might have just outbroke himself getting into turn 12. The car turned loose with him. He does not clip the barriers, though, boys. Tanner DeFabis keeps it straight.
Oh, Sherlock again trying to dive it down the inside into turn number 4. Not quite doing that time. He's going to get the cutback here. And now he's going to be inside. Edwards is off. Side by side still. Titus Sherlock and Alex Chilcutt. And then down the straight we go into the S's. Chilcutt has the inside, and he squeezes him out. Side by side, almost. And they make it through the first part of these S's. Man, Titus Sherlock is not giving up this one easy. He wants this badly.
It isn't. And, guys, all this has done is it has let Caleb Bensi, who has won in all sorts of different stuff in these cars, one of the best drivers in the community, close right back up on the gearbox. of Titus Sherlock and Alex Chilcutt. So the front three have broken away. Sherlock, I thought he was going to make a dive right there too. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah, I saw Bensi lock a break there into that second to last corner, and down the front stretch we go. We'll see if they use the push to pass at all down this very long front stretch. It's about as long as the front straightaway at Monza itself, and going just as fast too. Chilcutt still holding on to it, hard on the brakes. Sherlock not quite there yet, and Caleb Bensi, this front three has pulled away a good bit over Logan Edwards and Nate Siefker, and Siefker now in fourth is driving with a broken front wing on that car.
Yeah, there's Nate Siefker. We're going to go ahead and close in on him. There you see the missing left front main plane on the Team Watson racing car. Logan Edwards, by the way, has a black flag that he is going to have to serve. He's already back down to 8th. So the old Narc Brennan, that's Logan. He is going to be called into the pit lane here. The black flags are out for Logan Edwards. So we'll monitor that situation, and that was big. Edwards was 4th at the time of his penalty there, guys.
Yeah, I did see him go off on the previous lap, going into the second chicane there, turns 4 and 5. So probably was related to that. Whoa! Siefker and Tomba almost getting together. Tomba dives it hard down the inside, and he gets the spot there. Big twitch, in fact. Meanwhile, behind him, I believe that's DeFabus. DeFabus now trying to get up alongside his teammate, Ryan Sheehan. Sheehan making, I believe, his series debut. Another Team Eclipse driver, naturally a very strong driver. This team is always bringing out great talent. DeFabus trying to make up for a rough start there. Started 5th, now in 7th there. Look at Siefker now making a diving move on Kevin Tomba. Even with a broken front wing, he has still got the speed.
You know, he does, and I wonder if that's going to show up on him. He wants to run this as absolutely long as possible. We jump on board with Kevin Tomba as he follows Nate Siefker here. Jacob, you were telling me before the race that you thought that they could make just under 20 laps on a tank of fuel. Is that that's still what the school of thought is here?
I'd suspect that's likely the situation we're going to see. I would suspect maybe guys will start to come in a little earlier than that, try to split the race up a bit more evenly. Really just depends on ultimately what that last stint's going to look like. Presumably, I'm expecting, since many of the guys started on reds here, that they're probably going to take these reds as long as possible, run maybe another red stint if that's the dominant tire here, which it may very well be, and then get onto that black tire for as little time as possible.
Well, and Stevie, you know, there's a reason Nate Siefker wants to stay out there as long as he can. He is the top driver right now on the black sidewall primary tires. He is holding up a slew of drivers who are on the reds. They want to get by as quickly as possible. We've got a car around in the back in the stadium. We're going to keep it right here because there is a hornet's nest around Nate Siefker. Tanner DeFabus has gotten through Kevin Tomba as well. And they are, this is the fight. But look, Siefker doesn't want to give that spot up because, you know, he wants to wait for the crossover. They're 3 wide now for 7th.
That's Michael Costello diving alongside his teammate Ryan Sheehan, bouncing over the curbing there. Sheehan holds on. So wow, like the backlog here caused by Nate Siefker fighting doggedly to hold on to this position, and every right to do so, I must admit. So Siefker really fighting it with everything he got, playing a lot of defense here, but here comes Tanner DeFabus trying to make the pass work for 4th spot. So Nate Siefker really giving it everything he can to hold on the track position there. He doesn't really care much about the fact that Bensi, Sherlock, and Chilcutt have taken off down the road.
No, he's off!
Siefker's off!
He's off. He gets back on. Now he's off again.
Off again, and now still ahead of DeFabus. I think he'll have a slowdown penalty for that. DeFabus on the inside, though, is not going to matter too much. Tanner DeFabus clears him, and here comes, whoa, Michael Costello dives it down the inside, and here comes Ryan Sheehan trying to follow up as well. These two still fighting incredibly hard. Oh, hip check, and that's Siefker off. Siefker is off, and he's lost a ton of positions.
He is.
That's definitely changed the calculus somewhat.
It has. He finally has lost. He's finally gone back to 10th. And so Nate Siefker, he's holding on doggedly. He needs to make, by our calculations, another 6 to 7 laps with that broken front wing before he can even come in and change it, or he's going to wind up having to make an extra stop. So he's going to have to live with that for, he's going to have to live with that for 5 or 6 more laps. Meanwhile, that car is anywhere between a second and 2 seconds off the pace. Tanner DeFavis has gone through. The front 3 have really broken away, and that's really more the front 2 now. Alex Chilcutt does lead it. Titus Sherlock is second. He's about 0.8 back. Caleb Binsey is another 1.3 seconds behind the machine of Titus Sherlock, and then it is 10 seconds back to the fight for 4th, and a fight it is, Stevie and Jacob.
Yeah, now it's a fight between 3 teammates, no less. Michael Costello catching up to the back of his teammate Tanner DeFavis. Costello has been very fast all season, just been very snake-bit in terms of results, but now dives down the inside, makes a clean pass of it. And Michael Costello, one of our Road to Indy in real life stars, no less, in the 19 machine up into 4th place. Very good job for Costello so far.
Yes, he is. Those 3 machines looking good. Costello, DeFavis, Sheehan, 4th, 5th, and 6th. We'll jump on board Tanner DeFavis as he rides down the front straightaway here. But these guys need to get going. It's worth mentioning Gavin Sanders with the demotion of Nate Sefker, and Sefker now has the black flag that he's going to have to answer for, and he's on pit lane. Gavin Sanders is now the highest placed driver on the primary black sidewall tires. He is 9th. And just kind of hanging on to the back of that train. He's got Logan Spath in 8th in front of him. So keep an eye out on that for the strategy piece. It's also worth mentioning that Dan Morea, and there's Dan in the 40 Racewear machine. Dan Morea is 11th. He is the top running amateur, and you can tell that by the A that's listed next to their name, and that would definitely be the class I would be in, Stevie and Jacob. My road racing skills, not good. So I would definitely be in that AM class. Ovals, I can hold my own, but the build now. So Nick Goyette, Sarah Guerrero, 16, 17. So Dan Morera could have a big night in that 40 Racewear car as far as the AM standings go. Meanwhile, back at the front of the field, Alex Chilcutt, and we'll jump on board with Alex, has pulled out to a 1.1 second advantage over Titus Sherlock, and those 2 have really left Caleb Binsey. Binsey just now in the picture. He's a couple 2.5 seconds back of Sherlock, and then it's another 11 seconds back to Costello, DeFavis, and Sheehan. The 3 teammates have really kind of locked down 4th, 5th, and 6th. They've got almost a second back to Kevin Tomba, and then Logan Spath, Gavin Sanders, rounding out the the front 9. Sophia Connell, and here's Sophia in the Taylor Mills Racing entry. The TMR car for Sophia Connell is 10th, and she's a couple of seconds back of Gavin Sanders. So that's your top 10 with, again, Dan Morera, the top AM, in 11th.
And this train coming down the front straightaway, the 6-car battle, it looks like, for 4th position here, still has not abated at all. Costello, DeFavis, Sheehan, Tomba, Spath, and Sanders. Sanders still staying within this fight here on those hard tires. So I'm expecting at some point Sanders could well be the fastest car on the track amongst all of these, especially since at some point these drivers have got to switch compounds at some point. All of them are starting on softs in front of Gavin Sanders.
They most certainly are, and we would expect that there's going to be a crossover at some point. Again, full stint here is going to be somewhere around 20 laps, so we're roughly halfway through it. Jacob, when would you expect the crossover between the red alternates and the primary black tires to happen here?
Well, I think we're starting to see it towards the middle portion of the field right about now. The fall off for the front couple cars isn't quite as big. They're running about 0.4 slower than their fastest laps of the race so far. Midway through the field, you see guys maybe a bit closer to about 0.8 of a deficit to Sanders last time around. So they might be starting to feel that heat, especially given how much they've been battling throughout the opening stage of this race.
You know, they most certainly have. It is worth noting that group, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, The last time through, they all ran their fastest laps of the race. Gavin Sanders is just about, he's anywhere between 0.4 and 0.2 of a second off of the cars in front of him. So I'd suspect in the next lap or two, that battle is going to come to Gavin Sanders, and he is going to begin to take the fight to Logan Spath in front of him. Of course, these drivers all know each other very well, and these are names that I have seen other than Bincy, Spath. I've raced with Dan Morera, but this is a treat for me because I get to see drivers in the community that I don't normally get to race against, being more of an oval specialist. So, treat for me, treat for the fans. This has been a tremendous one.
Yeah.
Treat for the fans. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can see more action just like this. Upcoming schedule, we've got 2 weeks in 2 Wednesdays, December 17th. They're going to do 104 laps at Brands Hatch on the Indy circuit. Won't that be fun?
Mm-hmm.
You boys ever?
Yeah.
Stevie, you've done
Go ahead.
Stevie, you've done the Indy circuit. I know Jacob has.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably the most oval-like road course you're ever going to see.
That's a pretty accurate assessment, I would say. It's definitely a bull ring in every sense of the word. Like if Lime Rock Park was somehow more bull ringy, it'd be Brands Hatch Indy Circuit.
Except Brands Hatch Indy is faster, right? That's the crazy thing about that joint. Indianapolis is on the schedule for the new year, January 7th. They're going to do 250 miles on the rectangle, and then to close out the season, we go to the correct version of Watkins Glen, the one with the boot, 37 laps, January 14th. Qualifying at 8:20, that's when the broadcast starts. Race at 8:30. Don't miss it here on P1, your home for IndyCar on iRacing. It's Mark Murphy, Stephen Larkamp, and Jacob Collins. We are working lap 11 of 47. The lead of this race in the front three, the podium positions, are not really in doubt, fellas. Alex Chilcutt has a 2.5 second roughly advantage over Titus Sherlock, and then it's another 3.5 seconds back to Caleb Bincy. It's 10 seconds back to this group, and really this is the best battle on the course. Costello, DeFabis, Sheehan, Tamba, Spath are all more or less within a second of one another. And the specter of those tires is going to start looming, although Gavin Sanders has already come in and swapped off of his primary tires. He came in and bolted on the reds. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting early call there for Gavin Sanders, switching to reds this early on in the race. We're only working, lap 11, I believe. Lap 11 so far out of 47. Sorry, my voice is getting messed up here.
That's okay if you need to take a rest. Take a rest, Stevie. Gavin.
But this is an interesting call, I would say. It seems that would indicate to me that the red tires could well have been the preferred ones for most of these drivers here tonight. So they're definitely going to be trying maximizing red tires as much as they can.
Most certainly so, but there's Sanders, and we'll see how this strategy works out for him. And maybe it is, as you say, that the alternate reds are the preferred tire. But Gavin Sanders is back on the speedway. The old narc brain, Logan Edwards, is behind him. Edwards 18th. He of course had the black flag, the penalty. Spent 17 seconds in his pit box. He is 8 laps out on his tires. After being involved in the in an early race fracas, and then the trip down pit lane with the black flag. It is also worth reporting that Nate Sefker is out of the race, and Jeremy Fairbairn is in the pit lane with the meatball, 9.5 minutes. So Jeremy Fairbairn and Nate Sefker both with early troubles. Your leader, there he is, Alex Chilcutt, and he is making mincemeat of this highly skilled Formula Indy Series field. There's Alex. He's carved out a 2.8 second lead over Titus Sherlock in P2.
This is the kind of performance he needs. He's second in the points. He led points for much of the season up until last time out at Gateway, where Gavin Sanders took that lead over. Now he's doing everything and by the book to get himself back up there. Started from pole and leading every lap so far in this race to get himself back up there. And right now, Chilcutt has been Mr. Consistency throughout the season. He has one win this season and one win in his Formula Indy Series career, no less. That was at the season opener at the Nürburgring. So Chilcutt started out with a bang, and he's been very consistent throughout the season. And now, looking to secure a second one, that would be a boon for him in this championship fight going into the final couple of races against Gavin Sanders, who right now is in 16th. But we know he's running a very different strategy.
We do. Gavin Sanders is now 15th. He has passed Logan Spath, who Spath has also come to the pit lane, and he's passed Pedro Mojica on the road. Next car up for Gavin Sanders is going to be Nick Goyette. There's Gavin Sanders, and he is catching Goyette at a clip of something like 2.5 seconds a lap. So you're going to see him go around Goyette here in just a moment. And that's a pro on an amateur. That's a points leading car for Gavin Sanders. I assume that Goyette would facilitate the pass here. Sanders on the push to pass, and then it's Kyle Mundell right up the road. Now here's the thing: Sanders has made a stop, and he is passing these cars on the road. They have not stopped yet.
Very true, and Gavin really showing the pace he has here tonight, side by side with Nick Goyette, and he gets the move done. Kyle Mundell next in line. The one-stop wonder usually throughout the season, though I don't think that'll be entirely possible here tonight for Kyle Mundell, as now Sanders looks to the inside to turn 4 and makes quick work of that. So Gavin on the charge very firmly with these fresh reds. Let's see what kind of pace he can gain on everyone else as the pit stop cycle will begin in earnest.
And here's something else that you want to consider when you're talking about the undercut and the overcut. Gavin Sanders, last time through, and he's in traffic, by the way, boys, minute 27.651. Alex Chilcutt, 15 laps on his tires, minute 28.384. So Gavin Sanders is coming. And that's a move, fellas, that can put him clear of the Castello, DeFabis, Sheehan, Sophia Connell has entered that chat as well. That's a move that can put him clear of those cars. And remember, they're going to have to run the black sidewall primary tires as well. Kevin Tomba has come into pit lane to make that exact switch, and so he's on his way out. It is worth noting that Tomba is on his way out now with fresh primaries. So 15 laps for Tomba. But really it's down to how long do these guys want to go. They're not, they've got spotters, they've got race labs, iOverlay, whatever have you. They know that Gavin Sanders is much quicker on those fresh tires. There he goes. He's going to get another through Zach Flum. Flaum, is it? Flaum?
Zach Flaum, yeah.
He's the one paying the bills. I should know how to say his name, right? But he gets past Zach.
Yeah, I guess so.
And that's going into 10th. And so, Gavin Sanders has put himself into a pretty doggone good spot with this undercut, fellas.
I agree completely, especially since from here on out, he can just stick reds on to his heart's content and just pound these laps out for the remainder of this race. So Gavin is really playing his cards very cleverly here tonight and got good pace to boot. So Gavin up into the top 10 once more, and getting close to it, I should say. But now is really put him into the picture, especially since Kevin Tomba came in and he's well behind all this. It's definitely put him in the picture for a top 5 spot. So Sanders is doing everything he needs to do to get himself to hold on to that championship lead in that fight with Alex Chilcutt.
It is. There's Kevin Tomba. He has made his stop. He's on the black primary tires. Meanwhile, we did see, I believe, I thought we had a car going on the pit lane. That was Nick Goyette. We're looking at Michael Castello, and really it's up to these front runners now. Castello is pulled over a second away from Tanner DeFabis. There's about a second and a half clearance between DeFabis and Sheehan, so the teammates are separated. I'm wondering, of these front 5 or 6, who's going to be the first one to blink, fellas?
It's a very good question for sure. working in lap 17 now for our leader, Alex Chilcutt, with a 4-second lead over Titus Sherlock, and Bensi about 5 seconds in arrears of Sherlock himself. So it really is turning into a good question of how long can they make these red tires last, because they seem to be the preferred ones for many drivers here tonight. So you want to stay on them as much as you can while maintaining pace. Of course, you don't want to kill them. So you really got to play it well to keep the pace underneath you for as long as you possibly can, because you do not want to be on the hard tire for less than you really need to, it would seem.
You don't. Now, I do want to point out point out a quick fact as we cycled through the top three, and there's Caleb Bensi. He is running in the 3rd spot. Do want to thank everybody for tuning it in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1, be notified of all future iRacing events just like this one. We're watching the Formula Indy Series live from the Circuit Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City. Mark Murphy, Stephen Larkamp, and Jacob Collins along for the ride. I put up the push to pass numbers as we watch Bensi navigate this course. It's worth noting Alex Chilcutt with 180 seconds has the second most left in the field. Sophie O'Connell and Kyle Mundell have not touched their push to pass buttons, but Sherlock and Bensi, they're using them. Titus Sherlock down to 108 seconds. Bensi under 150 now. Michael Costello and Tanner DeFabis, they're at 99 and 90 seconds respectively. That's getting after the old button pretty hot and heavy pretty early for a 47 lap race. If you're halfway done, 18 laps in.
Yeah, and one thing I should note as well, that Chilcutt's lead down to 2.6 seconds. That was because he had to dodge a spinning car in the S's on the previous lap. So Alex Chilcutt, good evasive maneuver there, holds on to the lead. But that's always nerve-wracking when you have a car losing in front of you when you're the race leader. That's not a comfortable feeling.
It's not, and here's the thing, Stevie. I mean, Stevie Jacob, you know that feeling well. I know it, on an oval. You're leading, you're going along, man. You've got a great hot rod. You've got the race under control. And then, somebody, a lap car who more than likely is trying, he knows you're coming. He's trying to get out of the way, loses it in front of you. Your heart stops. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a sinking feeling because these cars, and people don't realize, these cars do not rapidly change direction very well.
No, they're definitely momentum cars.
They're definitely momentum cars, you're not gonna make darting moves in them. At their heart, they are oval cars that are retrofitted to run road courses, and that's gonna sting the road racing centric guys. But at the end of the day, these cars are optimized to run 2.5 miles on a rectangle in May, and they do everything else just because right, for something else to do.
Yeah,
and so they're not optimized for this, and that they're heavier than a Formula One car. They look similar, but they're heavier than an F1 car because they have to be able to contact cement walls. The aero is very much oval first, so that affects the aero balance, the tunnels, things like that. They're good road racing cars, but they at their heart they're still oval cars, and because of that they do not change direction very well.
Absolutely, and it leads to a kind of driving style that you need to take. Honestly, I personally find a lot of comparisons driving-wise to something like an LMP1 or LMP2 car. It's definitely a bulkier car as fast road racing cars go. It's still got a bit of responsiveness to it, but not nearly as much as an F1 car. So they're definitely, the bulk does lead to a bit of an understeery driving style, generally speaking, for the Indy cars on road courses. So it really adds to the challenge, and personally, I really enjoy that aspect of these cars. Even though I love my go-karty cars in my own right, I love the Super Formula Lights, for instance, or if either of you remember the old Star Mazda or Pro Mazda cars here in iRacing, that thing was a go-kart with big wings, pretty much. That is very much not what these cars feel like.
They do not. More on that in a moment. at Michael Costello and Tanner DeFabis, and you see the two teammates in the identically prepared machines come to the pit lane. Sherlock and DeFabis will give up 4th and 5th spots. That's going to move Ryan Sheehan, and we haven't really talked about Sheehan. He's the 3rd car in that trio. Sheehan now goes to 3rd, and Sophia Connell now runs 4th. These cars have made it now 20 laps, and I would suspect Stevie and Jacob, if you've made it 20 laps on these red alternate tires, you're going to run them 20 more, and you're going to run a very short run on the primaries to either do a second stint or end the race. You do not want to have it, doesn't seem, have the primaries on the car, and that could be because the weather here is just about ideal. 73 on the track, 73 in the air, 102 on the track. It is not a hot day. It's overcast. The sun is not cooking these tires, and so it appears as though the alternates are the way to go.
Absolutely, they have been the preferred tire because you're all right. The track conditions are very much perfect for them. So Sheehan, I'm looking at him really getting the most out of these reds that he possibly can before either another stint of reds or a short stint in the middle. I'd be curious to see who goes for that. But it's very much a possibility that you want to just get it done with in the middle of the stint so you can finish off with fast laps. So that could be an alternative for these drivers here tonight, and we'll see who goes with what. Costello seems to be one of those drivers that has gone for that on the hard compound tire now.
Yeah, here's Michael Costello. He is on the primary black tires. He is now on his 2nd lap, so those are just going to be coming up to temperature. It makes you wonder, you're right, do you run it short here? Do you run your short stint at the end on those things? I would, just from my personal view, I'd much rather do it in the middle, just because at the end I don't want to feel like I'm defenseless. Now I know on aggregate, right, it doesn't make any difference. It's a lap's time is a lap's time, but you don't want to feel that way as a driver. So I would suspect for guys like Costello, DeFabis, Tomba, Spath, they're going to run these things for the minimum that they feel they have to, and then they're going to pull over and put the alternates back on. It's worth noting, very sneakily and very quietly, here's Byron Daly. Byron Daly has also been out 21 laps, so he's on the tires he started on. But Jacob Collins,
he's running on hards.
Yeah, Jacob, you wanna tell me what color the sidewalls are on the Echo Blade machine there?
Well, those are definitely not red.
They are not red. So my thought here for Byron Daly is this: he's going to run these Firestone black tires as long as the fuel will hold out, and then he's going to come do 2 sprints on the alternate tires, just split the second 2 stages in half. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out, and he is not that far off the pace. Minute 28.797, his last lap. Ryan Sheehan is now 2nd. He's 22 laps in on his alternate tires. Sheehan, minute 28.629. So Daly not all that far off the pace of your 2nd place runner. Alex Chilcutt is your leader. We are awaiting pit stops. Do want to thank the series sponsor, Sim Racing Warehouse. Tonight's coverage is sponsored by them over there at the Sim Racing Warehouse. If you're looking to take your sim racing setup to the next level, check them out. That Sim Racing Warehouse, from high-quality wheels and pedals to accessories that bring the track right to your home, they've got everything you need to race harder, faster, and smarter. Check out the broadcast description for all the links you'll need. I think Jacob Collins could tell you I probably need a new steering wheel because I can't drive anyway. Maybe a new wheel would help me out, Jacob.
You know, I think they could never hurt.
You know, there's a man in the audience, Caleb Brashear, who has a new wheel, and he uses it for a nightlight. That would be Logan Edwards' teammate, Caleb Brashear. Caleb won the Sim Gaming Expo open wheel invitational, and he got himself a Tony Kanaan special GS Gomez Sim Industries wheel, and it's a beautiful thing. And he's got a Logitech G29, so he doesn't base, so he can't hook it up. So if anybody wants to hook Caleb Brashear up with a SimMagic, a SimiCube base, so he can use his new wheel, I'm sure he'll take donations, right, boys?
I think he already hooked himself up with one. The Nightlight got a promotion. He's got a couple races on it now, I think. The Nightlight's received its proper treatment of being used as a steering device.
Alex Chilcutt on the pit lane. Titus Sherlock has made his stop, as has Bincy. Bincy came back out on the black sidewall primary tires. So Bincy is now making his primary run. Titus Sherlock pitted for the alternates. Gavin Sanders, remember we talked about that short pit earlier for Gavin Sanders? He's been out 12 laps, boys. He's made it up to 4th spot, and he is well clear. Yeah. He is well clear, 3 seconds of DeFabis, Costello, and Sheehan, and those were the cars that he was trailing at the start of this race.
All according to plan for Gavin Sanders. Fantastic run so far, from 11th into the top 5 in a very tight field, using a very different strategy to everyone else, but making it work effectively, and it seems like it's going to be good in the long run as well at this rate, because if he's in 4th now with another stint of reds on the cards, that's going to be a very fast end to this race for the 10 machine.
It is indeed, and so there are a couple of different strategies that we're tracking out here. Gavin Sanders did the short pit. He's been out 13 laps on his second stint, 24 of 47 complete. The other one that we were looking at was Byron Daly, and there's Byron. He ran the full stint on the black primary tires to begin with. He came in and got another set of primaries, boys.
Interesting move, honestly.
You know, it could be, and some guys are like this. Jacob, feel free to chime in. It could just be that he's more comfortable on the primary tires.
Well, I think the one thing that we've got to keep in mind here is that these guys went a bit longer than we were anticipating on the fuel here, and that may go into some of the factors of the track being at the location it's in, right? That fuel consumption might just be a little bit less with how thin the air is up this high. So it might be entirely possible he's trying to single stop this race and make it through to the end on one tire change.
It'd be very close, I would say, but I don't know. It may not be impossible, but then again, for Byron Daly's case, he would need to come in anyway to change over to reds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's going to have to run the alternates at some point, so he's not going to be able to one-stop it, which I guess would defeat the purpose. Now, Alex Chilcutt may be able to one-stop it. He's out on the alternate tires. Same for Titus Sherlock, although Sherlock is going to have to stop and get his primaries. Caleb Bincy, I don't think, is going to be able to make it. Alex Chilcutt, though, he made it 24 laps on that first stop. So Alex Chilcutt not only leading this baby by quite a bit. He's built a 2.3 seconds lead over Titus Sherlock.
Oh, Zach Fahm around on the entrance to the baseball stadium. Zach Fahm is around there just in front of Alex Chilcutt. Gathers it up, though, and gets back on his way. So the 20 machine, bit of a struggle here tonight so far, and it just got that bit more struggle-ish.
Yeah, there's Zach, and you see him going into the baseball stadium. That's a tough, slippery right-hander. It's a little bit downhill. Looked like he got the rear brakes locked up, and around she went. And that is right. You see the leaders threading their way through. Zach Flom is gonna spin it around there in the runoff area, get it pointing back in the right direction, and all it costs him in the end is time. But a lot of time indeed. That'll put him back into the 17th spot, and he is going to have some angry tires on that car to boot. Best battle on the track right now is Tanner DeFabis in 5th. He's got trouble behind him, and that's Michael Costello. Although it's always nice when you've got one car behind you, and that car is your teammate, isn't it?
It is, yeah, but at the same time, that teammate still wants to race you hard. There's no team orders at Team Eclipse, that's for certain. So Costello definitely wants to take the fight to his fellow Road to Indy competitor, Tanner DeFabis. Really wants to take that fight to him. Both them running on the hard compound tire on this stint. So these two this could turn into a really fun little tussle between teammates here, which pretty sure DeFavis is not the most keen on it given his position in the championship standings as it stands. But Costello definitely wants some vindication for some misfortune in previous races.
He does indeed. Speaking of vindication and misfortune, we're going to drop back. Let's drop back and talk about Logan Edwards a second. He is in 12th spot. Logan Edwards had the early contact. He got a black flag, had the drive-through. He went a little bit off strategy. He has just made his second stop and bolted on the primary tires. He would be in range to go the remainder of the race. He's also maintained his position on the lead lap. He's blinking slightly, but he's driven that car, that Luke Mansky Racing Esports car, back up to 12th spot. So that's a pretty good drive for Logan Edwards. He's got Dan Morera behind him. Morera remains the top running AM. Sarah Guerrera is 15th and Nick Goyette 16th, the other amateurs in the field. It's worth noting Sophia Connell has now retired, in addition to Nate Sefker and Jeremy Fairbairn. So 3 cars out of the race, 18 remain on the circuit of the original 21 runners. Michael Costello now all over the back of Tanner DeFavis.
Oh yeah, he's right up on the gearbox now. Through the S's they go. Tricky to stay on the gearbox to them, especially with all the turbulence being thrown over the front wing.
It is indeed these long shots. We do thank our friends at Whiplash SimCams for those. Down the outside is going to go Michael Costello around Tanner DeFavis. And that almost looked like it was a planned move, Stevie and Jacob.
That could well be. It looked like DeFavis just moved to the inside to let Costello pass. I think they realized that Costello may have a bit more pace at the moment. So excuse me. A little bit of a moment there of my illness there at the moment. But Costello could well be the faster of the two as it stands there. So Team Eclipse wants to see if Costello can catch up to Gavin Sanders, Caleb Bensey and company and see what they could do from here.
You know, he most certainly does. And that's something your teammates, right? Get on the radio and say, hey, you mind letting me go here? I think I might be a little bit quicker. We've got a car off. And stop. That's Sarah Guerrera in the infield. And let's see what's happened with Sarah in the 267 machine. And she's been there for a minute too, guys. Just lights them up coming off a turn. Coming off a turn 6. Around it goes, and then it starts blinking. But she's been parked there for a minute, and now she is disconnected from the service. So Sarah Guerrera is going to be credited with the 18th spot.
Yeah, that was a rough one there for Sarah Guerrera. Just very unfortunate. Could well have been something equipment related also involved there, but Guerrera out of the running just past the halfway point.
Now, while we were talking about that, Alex Chilcutt has been caught. Titus Sherlock is now right up the back of Alex Chilcutt for this race lead. That is a lap car behind them. The player's liveried machine is not a part of this fight. But I assure you, Alex Chilcutt and Titus Sherlock are about ready to lock horns, and that is a difference in tires. Alex Chilcutt is not maintaining the advantage on the primary tires that he had on the red alternates. And Titus Sherlock has caught him with his now hot and about halfway through a stint red alternates.
Exactly. And just to give an idea of how much faster Sherlock is right now, last time around for Alex Chilcutt, a 129.8. For Sherlock, a 128.3. Titus Sherlock is flying right now on these red tires.
He is
important to keep in mind, Sherlock is one of only 3 cars yet to take the other tire compound, so he is going to have to come down the pit lane alongside Mundell, and I believe, Mundell and Daly still have yet to switch on to the other compound yet, as Daly's still on primaries, so that'll likely play a big factor here.
Sherlock dives it down to the inside in turn one, makes it smoothly past Alex Chilcutt, and takes the lead, trying to gain a gap before he has to come in for a second time and change over to the hard compound tire to end this race. He has now got to lay down qualifying laps here.
He most certainly does. Not only that, I don't believe, just looking at this, I don't think Alex Chilcutt is going to stop again. He's been out. He stopped at lap 24, and with 17 laps to go, I don't think Alex Chilcutt's coming back in, boys.
It's entirely possible that, I mean, he got to lap 24, I believe, the last stint. So that is one lap to the good to get it to the end on this stint if he can repeat that, which I definitely think he can. So Alex Chilcutt definitely has the cards in his hand here tonight.
He most certainly does. I believe that was Nick Goyette that we saw sliding off in the background in the player's machine, liveried machine. Meanwhile, Alex Chilcutt, I got to believe he didn't fight that too hard, guys. I think he just kind of said, all right, I'm not stopping again. I know you've got to. You go right on ahead. I'm not too worried about it. They're pulling up on the back of the 12 of Nick Goyette. That would be the lap car that you see ahead of Titus Sherlock. So we'll reset it. Sherlock now leads it. He's got one more stop left. Alex Chilcutt second. We don't believe he needs to stop. Gavin Sanders is now third. Sanders is nearing his final stop, and we are pretty sure he's going to bolt on alternates for that one. Tanner DeFabis is fourth. There's DeFabis along with Michael Costello. Those cars have been running in formation for most of this event. They have one more stop left as well. They've been out 11 laps. Ryan Sheehan is in sixth spot. He's been out 8 laps. He might be borderline. Sheehan might be borderline to make it. He stopped on lap 23, so it's possible that Sheehan could make it. And then Caleb Binsey has just stopped and bolted on a fresh set of the red alternate tires. He is 7th. Byron Daly is in 8th. Daly is going to have to stop for the alternates at some point. There he is in 8th. Kevin Tomba just stopped for new alternates. He is 9th. And Logan Spath, likewise, 2-lap-old alternate tires. He is in 10th. Sarah Guerrera has reported in the chat, wheel disconnected. So it looked to me like a hardware issue there for Sarah Guerrera that caused that one. That was very unfortunate. Most certainly so. The battle for the lead gang is the best one on the track. Titus Sherlock is laying down some hot ones. He is marginally faster, but he is not getting away from Alex Chilcutt fast enough. The gap is 7/8 of a second or thereabouts. So Titus Sherlock is not getting away, and we know he's got to make one more stop. It's worth noting that Logan Gavin Sanders just pulled his car onto the pit lane, and he's going to grab a fresh set of alternate tires as well. He'll be good to the end. 15 laps to go here at Mexico City, the Formula Indy Series. You've got Mark Murphy alongside Stevie Larkamp. Stevie's battling some voice issues. We've got Jacob Collins in the booth with us from the Indy Next Series to help us out, because I don't know anything about road racing, and Stevie's voice is impaired. So we've got to have somebody who can lay competence on us, and that's Jacob Collins. So we do appreciate them for joining in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can get a reminder for all of the iRacing action that takes place right here. Over on the sister stream, you've got practice for the Hoosier 500. Qualifying for that race is upcoming this weekend. Stevie, you going to try to make that one?
Sorry, run that by me. I was blowing my nose.
So the qualifying for the Hoosier 500 is this weekend. The renamed Open Wheels 500. We're going to see Stevie Larkamp take a shot at that thing?
I wish I could, honestly. Just just time commitment is not allowing me to do so, unfortunately. I wouldn't like, it'd be great if I did give it a go, but just not on the cards this year. But it'd be great to see what goes down this year. It's always a fantastic race.
You know it is, and I've told Jacob Collins this. Collins, you're going to give it a shot, right?
Nope.
You were sitting that out as well. I'm disappointed that I can't make it. I've got a family commitment on race day. Really, that whole race weekend. My dad's coming into town, so I don't have the time to do the race. But for those of you who are interested in a show, qualifying for that thing is interesting. And Stevie and Jacob both vouch for this. Just making that race is an achievement. Forget where you finish. Just making it is a huge deal.
Absolutely. And because only 33 get to start the race, and usually it's over 100. I believe it's about 120 drivers that are registered to make qualifying attempts this year.
Yeah,
something to that effect.
It's over 120. It's over 120, and there are like 90 some odd of them are rookies and haven't done it before. And aren't they in for a treat? My rookie year, I got to sit on the hot stove and sweat ice water while my teammates Seb Alexander and Kevin Burrell took to their cars, desperately trying to bump me out in the final hour. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always a great feeling, isn't it?
Especially when you got drivers the caliber of the General Kevin Burrell trying to bump you out, and you know the setup that's on the car because that's the one that you just used to put yours in the show, right?
Exactly. Like they have the same toolkit as you, so it's gonna come down to like inches, if even that, to like that'd be the margin of getting into the field and getting bumped out, saying like, yep, see you next year.
Yeah.
And like this is gonna be real exciting. It's one of the reasons why it's why Gary Godso couldn't be with us here tonight. He has turned his attention to the Hoosier 500 here tonight. So it's us here in the booth, and hopefully, Gary, you're enjoying the show, and hopefully you're having a good run tonight. So yeah, good luck to everyone running the Hoosier 500. Just get into the race. You're going to need it.
You are. Don't feel too bad for Gary. He's got Andrew Wood over there keeping him company in the Hoosier 500 booth. So I guess that means the station wagon isn't going to make an appearance this year. I spent last year in the race chasing that thing. Titus Sherlock continues to lead it here in Mexico City. We've got 13 laps left. Alex Chilcutt is second. We are pending the pit stop for Titus Sherlock. He is going to have to stop again. Last in at lap 20. You're not going to be able to make 27 laps. You can make it 24. Alex Chilcutt did that. Caleb Binsey is now third. He has made his second stop. He's 4 laps out on a brand new set of red alternate tires. And that's really, I think, going to be the race between Sherlock and Binsey for the second spot. Because as soon as...
And the battle is going to be on after all this for the top 3 after all this. Because Chilcutt, if he pulls off his fuel run to the same extent as last time, which I definitely think he has every right to, he is going to be in his own zip code next time around, or whatever the postal code system is in Mexico.
It is indeed. I'm interested to see how this plays out. Like I said, Chilcutt, barring something wild, we think he's pretty much got it wired. But the race for second, that's gonna be the fun one. Binsey is 28 seconds back. Time on pit lane is anywhere between 25 and 29 seconds. So, does that give you an indicator of? Is that going to give you an indicator of what is about to transpire here?
Well, I think the other thing too is Titus has to go on to the primary tire, and Bensey's going to be on about half stint alternates by that point. So that could get very interesting if Bensey's able to, get close enough to Sherlock after the pit cycle.
Oh yeah, that's going to be real interesting to see because. My apologies, and that happened again. But we were saying earlier that the soft tire definitely has the pace advantage. So Bensey is going to be, even though they're like halfway through a stint, they're still going to be the preferred rubber over the hard compound tire here tonight. So Bensy is going to have a lot of bullets in the gun to work with to get by Titus Sherlock and get up to second place at the end of this event.
He most certainly is, and that's the race that I am looking forward to seeing. Titus Sherlock does lead it. He is due in any time for his final stop. Now, here's the other bit, Jacob. You're the one that's been tracking this. If I'm thinking correctly, Titus Sherlock's going to have to come in and grab the primaries. Is that right?
Correct. So he is going to be at a disadvantage at that point, and with as close as he'll likely come out ahead of Bensy, that may give Bensy an opportunity to strike, especially with how big the straightaways are here. The draft zones will be able to kind of play into his favor if he can get close enough.
It most certainly could. Just kind of counting down the laps. So when Titus Sherlock is going to, here he is. So Titus Sherlock is going to pull it on the pit lane, and this is more or less going to set up the race for second. Titus Sherlock is in the pit lane. He's got about 29 seconds in hand over Caleb Bensy as he hits his pit stall. He's going to have to put on the primary tires, we assume. And then the race for second is going to be on. Alex Chilcutt does not have to stop again. The primary tires are on for Titus Sherlock. He's going to come back out onto the racing surface. Where is Bensy?
Here he comes down the front straightaway, so he's within sight. It's a bit of a gap to work with here, but Sherlock sees that number one machine and could well be a bit worried, especially with those soft tires underneath.
3 seconds. Three seconds of push to pass. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in. I understand the broadcast seems to be freezing for some people out there. I'm watching it on my phone through a different internet connection. It hasn't frozen on my phone yet, so that's interesting to note. But we've got 9 laps left here at Mexico City. There's the man running second. It is Titus Sherlock, and Caleb Bensy is coming. That gap is now down to 3.4 seconds, and you can see Bensy coming in the background, boys.
Yep, the gap now about 3.5 seconds. Caleb Bensy on the move here. Let's see what it is. So last time around, not really a lap that you account very much because it was an outlap. Ooh, Sherlock well off there in one of the S's, so gotta be very careful with those track limits, does Titus Sherlock. So looks to me, yeah, he didn't get a penalty for that. He wasn't forced to slow down, but you gotta be very, very careful, especially with how undulating some of the corners can be here.
There you go. The gap now 3.2 seconds. The lap times the last time through, Titus Sherlock is going to come through, and his lap, 1:28.113. Caleb Bensy, 1:27.968. So Bensy is coming. He's got 8 laps to do it. Everybody should be good to go on fuel and tires from here. Ryan Sheehan might be the question mark. Sheehan is in the 4 spot. And here's Ryan Sheehan. The thing with Ryan Sheehan is that he stopped 1 lap sooner than Chilcutt. So where Alex Chilcutt has that lap in the bag, Stevie and Jacob, Ryan Sheehan does not. He's got to make that extra lap on this stint instead of having it in the bank.
Yeah, let's have a look. Just going through when he was last on pit road. Looks like lap 23 was when he was last out. So he might be trying to pull the same stunt that Chilcutt is right now with a 1 stopper. So it's a bit closer this go around, but if Chilcott's been any indicator, it's definitely within the realm of possibility. So Ryan Sheehan could well play spoiler here in these final few laps.
He could, but he's got a spoiler of his own coming behind him. Gavin Sanders is on the hunt. Sanders was 1.3 seconds quicker that last time through, and we know Gavin Sanders has both the fresh alternates and plenty of fuel on board, and he should blast past Ryan Sheehan here coming down the front straightaway. And I don't know that Sheehan really is in a position to defend because he is in super duper fuel save mode here as we get down to 7 laps to go here in Mexico City. We were watching the Formula Indy Series presented by the Sim Racing Warehouse, and there goes Gavin Sanders. He pulled the short pit, made the 2-stopper work, and he's clawed his way back up to the 4th spot, which once again, if you remember the beginning of this race, fellas, there was a conga line of about 6 cars that were in a scrap for 4th. Gavin Sanders came in, he short pitted, he came back out. Gavin Sanders basically used that short pit stop now to pass 5 cars.
Yeah, he did. He basically got the best of all of them with that unique strategy, starting out on the hards and then coming in and just bolting to the end on reds. It really has worked wonders for Gavin Sanders. I got the hiccups now. What in the heck is going on? So Gavin Sanders up into 4th place and really doing everything in his power to keep the fight close with Alex Chilcutt for the championship. And regardless of it, looking at the standings going into this race, it was about a 12-point lead that Sanders had over Chilcutt. Chilcutt may well retake the points lead after this race, but it's still going to be very tight. It's going to be closer, I would imagine, at the end of this race than it was going in. So the final few races at Indy and Watkins Glen, that's going to be a great championship finale, not unlike the championship finale next weekend in Formula One.
That's quite right. The other one, we put the championship standings up really quickly. The car that's going to take the beating today, Logan Edwards. He had an early race incident. He got had a penalty, had to fight through that. Logan Edwards has driven that Luke Mansky car back up to 10th, and so he's done a yeoman's day's worth of work today as Logan Edwards. I think he's probably passed half the field, and he's got it back in the top 10, and that's going to salvage something for him. But he's gonna hurt in the points for this one, given that Chilcutt is going to win the race most likely, barring any sort of late race. Barring anything late race, and Gavin Sanders is going to finish 4th. Caleb Benzie in the number 1, firmly ensconced in 3rd. We haven't talked about Benzie all that much, but Caleb Benzie, he's having a very quietly effective day, isn't he, boys?
Absolutely so. I would have jumped in a bit sooner trying to resolve the hiccups I've gotten just recently.
So, Stevie, what you need to do is you need to take a drink of water, hold your breath, and stand on your head.
Yeah.
I think that's
maybe hum the Star Spangled Banner while I'm at it.
That's right. Jacob, do you have any other ideas that we could help out Stevie Larkamp with these hiccups?
Well, usually just a nice vocal rest works every once in a while. So
this is true.
I like the idea of standing on his head while he hums the Star Spangled Banner better. I think that we should televise that.
Oh, jeez.
We could.
I mean, it would turn into another shambles pretty quickly. I've never been known for doing good handstands, but it'd be fun to try, maybe. Once. Maybe when I'm not having hiccups.
Maybe tie a rope around his ankle and hang him from a tree and spin him around a little bit like a piñata.
Oh, come on.
Now, we joke all the time. I went to go pick up my kids today, and we joke all the time that one of these days I'm gonna go pick up my kids from the grandparents, and we're gonna find Nana swinging from her ankles from the ceiling fan. Trying to deal with the 3 kids.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's fun to think of.
Anyway, Caleb Benzie motors along in the 3rd spot. It's all about this man, though. There are no real battles on the track. Alex Chilcutt is going to make the one-stopper work. If the fuel holds out in that number 6 machine, he is going to romp to an over 21-second win over Titus Sherlock and Caleb Binsey for your podium. It's worth noting there has been trouble for Dan Moreira on the track. That moves this man, Nick Goyette, into the highest placed amateur runner. He is 14th. All the amateurs are a lap down. Goyette 14th, Moreira 16th, and then Sarah Guerrera had the unfortunate issue with the equipment malfunction. She is going to be credited with 18th. So that's the amateur standings as we run, but gives that Nick Goyette his due. He's kept it on the road and out of trouble, and that's much better than I would do. So good work for Nick Goyette. Alex Chilcutt continues to lead it now. 3 laps to go. In case you were wondering, the circuit Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, built in 1959, the current circuit, 2.6 miles. So not only is it pretty quick, Stevie and Jacob, it's also a pretty long one.
North America likes its horsepower, Mark.
We do indeed. And horsepower is king here. This used to be a track back in the days when you had turbo and normally aspirated cars that ran in Formula One. This track definitely favored the turbo runners. Because the inside of the plenum always feels what the turbocharger tells it as far as atmospheric pressure, where the naturally aspirated cars would have trouble. But it was also a track where you would see different teams come to the forefront. The Leighton House team comes to mind. The old March team, Adrian Newey got his start designing Formula One cars there. This track seemed to always favor them simply because of the slippery aerodynamics, but it's also back in the day was very, very bumpy. If you go back and watch some of those Mexican Grand Prix from back in the late 80s, early 90s, the cars almost look like they're going over the whoopsies on a AMA dirt track. What are the Supercross track, right, Jacob? Right, that's what they call it, right, when they race the motorcycles through the. Yeah, Supercross. It almost looks like they're driving Formula One cars on a Supercross track. They're bouncing up and down that much, and the sparks flying off of the wear pans and all that. So check that out. They've smoothed it out for F1's return, and it's not nearly as bumpy as it once was. But those were some interesting times and some interesting races to watch. The late 80s, early 90s Formula One races here at Mexico City. We're watching Alex Chilcutt. He is about 4 miles from home. If he can keep it together for another lap and a half, he will score a resounding victory over Titus Sherlock. He's coming into the baseball stadium complex here, the Faro Sol. He's going to turn it on in the second half of the Peraltada, and he'll come and grab the white flag. It'll be 1 lap to go for Alex Chilcutt.
One more tour left for Alex Chilcutt, and the second win of his championship season and of his career really in the Formula Indy Series is all but on the lock for him.
Well, and here's the fun part. We're going to ride on board with Alex Chilcutt. He is on the button now. He had saved his push to pass for the entire race. I think he's going to try to set his fastest lap here on the last lap.
Not sure how successful it's going to be considering the tires he's on, but it'll be a very fun last dash to the finish of this race, even though he has no one around him.
He has no one around him. There are no other cars near Alex Chilcutt as he works his way through the S's toward the baseball stadium one more time. And this is where, if you watch the Formula One races here, you can hear the fans in that baseball stadium cheering the cars as they go through. It's really kind of a very, very neat experience to see. But here's Alex Chilcutt through 14, 15, 16. He'll come out into turn 17, and Alex Chilcutt will see Barney in the checkered flag and win the Mexico City round here of the Formula Indy Series.
And bring it home, Alex Chilcutt, win number 2, and getting himself back into a championship fight for the final 2 races. This is going to be the start of a fantastic finish to this season.
It is. I don't want to sell him short, but I do want to get back and find Logan Edwards, because Logan Edwards has a hard charging Byron Daly behind him. This is the closest battle on the racing surface. This is the closest battle on the racing surface for the 9th and 10th spot. The 10th and 11th spot. Logan Edwards trying to hang on, but those are fresher alternates behind him. And Byron Daly has been as much as a second a lap quicker than him over the last few. And so Logan Edwards is trying to make it home here and salvage what he can after that early penalty. He's just about there, but they're coming through the baseball stadium now. One more chance for Daly and those hot red tires to make it. It's also worth noting Ryan Sheehan has stopped, and I believe Sheehan is out of fuel. So Logan Edwards is going to come around, and there's Sheehan, and that car, boys, is not running. So the attempt to make the one stopper for Brian Sheehan comes up short a few drops of methanol.
Oh dear. And Sheehan just trying to coast it on the clutch here, and try to use gravity to his advantage. Can he get to the end? It's gonna be questionable.
Yeah, he's 12 miles an hour now. There are certain things that you can do to help that situation out. The first is he's going to go down the pit lane because there is a slight downhill to get in the pit lane here. That's going to help him out. The other thing is, I can see the telemetry. He was going 12 miles an hour. Now he's at 24 as we watch this agonizing roll toward the pit lane. He may get an assist here.
Mundell.
Yeah,
is Mundell in the same situation though? I wonder. Maybe not.
I don't think
he's not.
So. I don't think so. He's already finished. He's lapped down. He's
giving him a push.
Yeah, he's going to give him a push home. But you can. The other trick for that, Stevie, is you can actually hit the starter, and the starter motor will propel you forward a little bit. That's an old boat racing trick. Just if you guys didn't know that. So, see, you learned something today, right, Stevie Larkamp?
Indeed, I've never really tried that old trick. I might give it a go sometime.
That's an old boat racing deal. You'll see it sometimes in unlimited hydroplane races, especially back in the days when they had piston engines. If the motor blew up, they would sometimes try to finish the race if the flag was in sight, because in boat racing, if you don't finish a heat, you don't get credited with any points. So they would hit the starter motor, and that would propel them forward if they were in sight of the flag, give them a chance to finish the heat. Speaking of finishing, we'll save Stevie Larkamp's voice. Alex Chilcutt is your winner. Titus Sherlock second. Caleb Vinci is going to round out the podium. Gavin Sanders brings it home a fine fourth after the novel strategy. And how about Tanner DeFabis? He is going to be fifth. Michael Costello, Kevin Tumba, Logan Spath, Logan Edwards, Para Logan's 8th and 9th, and Byron Daly will bring it home 10th. He made the charge on Edwards, didn't quite get enough. Ryan Sheehan, he coasts home. He got the push. Sheehan will be credited with 11th, last on the lead lap. In 12th, Kyle Mundell. Pedro Mojica 13th, Nick Goyette 14th. Goyette is going to be credited as the top amateur. Dan Marrera 15th. Zach Flum is 16th. Flum 16th. Gabriel Salian 17th. Sarah Guerrera 18th. Sophia Connell, Jeremy Fairburn round out the top 20. Nate Sefker is 21st to the early contact, and Micah Mixer did not take the start. He will be given 28th spot. And I believe we should have some drivers in our interview room. So first one, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting booth. I haven't had a chance to talk to this guy in a good while, so this is a treat for me. Caleb Binsey, you've got Mark Murphy, Stevie Larkamp, and Jacob Collins in the P1 Broadcasting booth. Can you hear us, my man?
Yeah, I got you guys. Good to talk to you as well.
It is indeed. I probably haven't. It's probably been a year or so since I've talked with Caleb. So a pleasure as always. You made it interesting at the beginning. You're right on the tail of Titus and Alex for a little bit, and then they started to pull away. Was it a matter of you were burning up the tires a little bit too much, or were they just that much quicker incrementally over a long haul?
I think it was definitely the tires. I mean, they were quicker too, but yeah, as a whole, I mean, going into this race, I thought I was very underprepared and just was not clicking with the car and tracks. That the high altitude and the lack of downforce it's crazy. Like I did not expect it to be that big of a jump, or I guess fall. But yeah, so that first stint was just trying to just maintain tire temp and not like over slide the car, because again, felt like it was just floating on top of the track, especially for some of the fast left right sweeper stuff. So yeah, I was pushing pretty hard to try and just keep up with them and just stay in that draft on the front straight. And after a while, like you said, just kind of started to lose touch, just started overheating the rears a bit. But after a little while, I just tried to, calm it down a bit, and was able to kind of regain some pace again and just kind of maintain that gap. But from there, just kind of how the race unfolded, I felt like with the gap behind I had to fourth, it was just kind of going to be a race of maintaining and not doing anything crazy or not doing anything stupid to throw away a podium. But yeah, ultimately I think the top two were just a little quicker tonight, and yeah, from there it was just about holding on to third and bringing it home, which thankfully was able to do that.
There you go. Stevie, Jacob, do you guys have anything for Mr. Binsey this evening?
Yeah, sorry about that. Was trying to resolve my hiccup situation here.
Stevie's having a night, Caleb. He's lost his voice.
Oh,
he's lost his voice. He's got a cold, and he's got the hiccups. So
yeah, I'm sick. So
oh man.
So
yeah,
we've had him standing on his head, humming the Star Spangled Banner while holding his breath for the last 10 laps or so. So hopefully Stevie can ask you what he liked. Go ahead, my man.
Yeah. So obviously in these final two races, it doesn't look like a repeat championship is on the cards at this point. But the next few races coming up, I imagine you're excited for Indianapolis and Watkins Glen particularly, and just having a quick look over at the schedule once again here. Obviously, and Brands Hatch next time out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's obviously on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, not an unknown commodity in IndyCars, but how excited are you for these next few races, do you think?
Yeah, very excited. I think the one wrinkle is going to be the hybrid coming in though next week. So.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, going to Brands Hatch with that system to stay on top of and figure out and stuff will be very, very interesting, because it sounds like it's going to be completely manual, just like how it is in real life. So. Yeah, so that'll be a lot to manage, and obviously with Indy too, that'll be pretty tough to figure out how to use it there, because they seem to not even know how to fully use it there in real life either. So, yeah, so that'll definitely throw a wrinkle into it. But I'm always excited to race at Indy, especially. So, that's one of those places where I feel like I can go into and be pretty confident to be a front runner, and so hopefully maybe we can at least get a win to close out the year. Because like you said, the championship just hasn't quite been there this year. The pace has been okay, but not quite race winning, I guess, and yeah, obviously missed a race a couple weeks ago too, so that doesn't help. But yeah, to your point though, happy or excited to close out the season with some new tech to work with and some cool tracks too. So yeah, we'll see how it all plays out.
Absolutely, Caleb. Well, thank you so much for stopping in, joining us. It was great to talk to you, buddy. We got to do this more often, but You know the drill. You've been up on the podium enough. Friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, thanks to you guys. Yeah, great to talk with you again, Mark, and thanks to the rest of the crew as always for putting on a great broadcast. And yeah, family and friends, as always, they enjoy it and love it, and then know they're tuning in as well. So shout out to you guys for the support as always. And yeah, Migos Taqueria, if you're in the Northeast Ohio area, go check them out. It's best Mexican food around. And then Joey Selman's Motorsports Art as well. If you have anything you want commissioned, reach out to him. And yeah, I mean, it's going into tonight. If I mean, I was going to be happy with the top 5, and the podium's a little unexpected. So yeah, pretty happy to put that one together, and hopefully can kind of continue that momentum for the rest of the season. So yeah, thanks to you guys, and good talk with you.
Good talking with you too, Caleb. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Yep, that's Caleb Bency. He is third today for our second place runner. We're gonna turn to Titus Sherlock. Titus, you've got Mark Murphy, Stevie an ill, voiceless, and hiccupy Stevie Larkamp, and Jacob Collins.
I think the hiccups are gone, thankfully.
It worked. We've managed to get Stevie to lose the hiccups. But you've got Murphy,
Yay.
Larkamp, and Jacob Collins in the P1 broadcasting booth. Can you hear us?
Yep, loud and clear.
Very good. Well, you were probably the only one that could take the fight to Alex Chilcutt. As it turned out, you had to make the extra pit stop. Kind of give us your take on the one-stop versus two-stop deal, and did you ever consider trying to one-stop it, or was it always going to be two for you?
We considered it a little bit, but whenever it's a decision and it looks close, I always decide just to go for it because I find it more fun just to drive hard than to fuel save. So, wrong decision, obviously, but yeah, I mean, he was really quick as well. And then yeah, I was giving him a little bit of run for his money. I definitely wouldn't have caught up the 20-odd seconds it was, but after my first stop, a car spun in front of me and gave me floor damage, and it's cost me quite a bit in the S's, so that was unfortunate. But yeah, overall, I think second was probably the best I could have done today.
Yeah, and it was a good second place run, all things considered, especially with everything that was thrown at you tonight, and especially since this is a relatively new circuit as iRacing competition goes. So what were your thoughts overall about the track? What about surprised you? Because I know Bency was kind of shocked at just how much the altitude of the place impacted performance.
Yeah, you really feel it. The car feels really heavy, and you don't feel like you have much aero. I'm not really a big fan of it. There's not a lot of flow for me. Even the S's are kind of awkward at the end of it. The stadium section is just, I think the whole track's just awkward, I think is the best word to use. I think it's fun when the tires are new, but when you're going in a long stint in the tire, it's also really hard on tires. So at the end of it, you're really sliding in this car, which is a fun challenge, I guess, but it's just kind of, I guess, awkward is the only word I can think of. And it was really tough to follow in the first stint in the S's. I was close for the first 5 or 6 laps, but then after that, I felt like the fronts kind of went, and then it was, yeah, just sinking lower and lower. So it's not my favorite. I think it suits other cars better, but yeah, it's a nice addition to iRacing to have, more of the different types of tracks, kind of the big F1 tracks, or even though they're not my favorite, it's nice to have sometimes. So yeah.
Jacob, did you have anything for Titus this evening?
I think that pretty much covers it.
There you go. Well, Titus, thank you so much for joining us in the booth. It was a pleasure to get to talk to you. As always, here on P1, you get on the podium, you get the microphone. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs, go right ahead, my friend.
Yeah, the whole Eclipse team is always a bit of a rough one today for some of us, but we'll come back stronger. All of our partners on the car, thank you guys, and of course the admins and the broadcast team for putting together a good product for us to have fun with.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy, and we will see you at the next one.
Thank you.
That is Titus Sherlock. He is your second place finisher. From the middle step of the podium to the top, it's Alex Chilcutt. Alex, you've got Mark Murphy, Stephen Larkamp, and Jacob Collins in the P1 broadcasting booth. Can you hear us, my man?
I got you, gentlemen.
You do indeed. Well, I tell you what, it was a masterclass tonight for you. Not only were you the fastest car for most of the race, but you managed to do so while getting the fuel mileage of a Volkswagen Rabbit, and that is very challenging to do. And so congratulations on both those scores. Kind of walk us through how you were able to go fast and save fuel. And I do got to know, did you let Sherlock go when you saw him coming behind you on the hot reds?
Yeah, definitely had to let him through there. Any kind of fighting would have been a pretty bad idea, and if we had an accident, well, that would have been pretty much complete destruction of the strategy. So yeah, it made sense to let him through. But in terms of how to find that pace, I feel like everybody kind of forgot. Mexico is like way up there. It's a high altitude track, so you can run map 3, 4, 5, and you only lose up to half a second a lap. So the gain from cutting out that pit stop was definitely worth it.
Yeah, and I will say this result, both for yourself and for Gavin Sanders, this has put this championship fight into an interesting situation in the final 3 races. I'm sure after a win like this, your second win on the season, you're definitely pretty confident going into Brands Hatch. But what really seems to be the mentality is keep doing what you've been doing. You've been pretty consistent all season, and fighting for wins, of course. But what's like, how excited are you going into these final 3 races for the championship?
I'm very excited. After Gateway, where the kind of unthinkable accident happened, I kind of have some motivation here. I gotta try a little harder. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the next 3.
Absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to watching you, my man. What a dominating effort. You've put yourself into a great position in the points. With the win go the spoils. You get the mic. Talk as long as you like, friends, family, sponsors. The floor is yours.
Shout out to you all, of course. I really appreciate you guys broadcasting for us, and shout out to Sim Racing Warehouse. They're a pretty awesome company, and I'm happy that they're sponsoring this. So shout out to everybody who makes this happen, and thanks for doing what you do.
You're more than welcome, Alex. Thank you so much for joining in. Keep going fast. Have fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
Thank you. See you guys.
Yes, sir. That is Alex Chilcutt. He is your winner today. It is worth noting Nick Goyette, and there's Nick, was the top amateur. He finished in 14th spot today, and so Goyette gets the honor as the top am. Normally, we would pull him in for an interview. However, Nick is not in the waiting room, and so we'll show him as we close out the show. Stevie, Jacob, what are your final thoughts on what we saw today, and kind of set up what we're going to see during the next round at Indianapolis?
Brands Hatch, actually.
Brands Hatch, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but equally exciting nonetheless. But Mexico City, a fantastic addition to the iRacing calendar. I'm really happy this track has arrived in iRacing. And you go from a track that has like really fast flowing nature to it to another track with a very fast flowing nature at the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. So you now have a bull ring fight in the final 3 races of the championship. I think next time out at Brands is going to be one heck of a show, especially with the championship in the mix.
You know, it most certainly can be. That track is fun. That track is fun anyway. You throw these Indy cars on it, it's a blast. Jacob, what are your thoughts? You and I do a lot of these. You and I do a lot of IndyCar races together, but we have not done an IndyCar race at Mexico City. So what are your kind of thoughts on the track and how these cars raced here?
I think the biggest thing that kind of stood out to me was just how difficult it was for guys to stay close to each other past the point. We saw a number of battles kind of play out fairly early, and then it spread out very, very quickly. And I think a good part of that is just how much of the corners here a very high commitment. You know, you've got the very long flowing S section, and that lack of downforce makes getting through there very, very difficult. So it's harder to keep the cars close together. So it certainly was a bit of a different song and dance that we're compared to seeing sometimes on a lot of the other North American courses we see typically in IndyCar competition.
You know, it can be. For me, I was just, so impressed. The master class from Alex Chilcutt in the with the saving fuel. That's always impressive to me when you can see a car when you can see a driver save that much fuel and also go that fast, that's a pretty cool deal. He ran his last lap, was just short of the fastest lap of the race. The fast lap belonged to Caleb Binsey, a minute. Well, no, not Binsey. Purple lap was Michael Costello, minute 26.978. Alex Chilcutt, his final lap on primary tires, minute 27.2. He came within 0.3 on primaries of doing the fastest lap of the race on the last lap, and that was impressive as well. Ultimately, I think the wild card here, we talked about Caleb Binsey being a driver who is the defending champion of the series. The wild card for me is Binsey in going to Indianapolis. He is not in the championship fight. Caleb Binsey is a very, very, very good. Caleb Binsey is a very, very good oval racer. He's a past winner of the Elite Indianapolis 500, and so
Lost Mark for a second there. Well, what the heck happened there?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, so I can tell you what happened. iRacing completely shut down on me, iRacing completely shut down on me. So, with that said, we're going to go ahead and put the standings back up so you guys don't have to look at my car there on the screen. But I was saying, I think the wild card here is Indianapolis. This is a road racing based series. They only do a few ovals. Caleb Binsey is really the wild card to me. He's a past winner of the Elite Racing League 500, which is one of the bigger Indy 500s in the service. And so, Caleb Binsey, although he's not in the championship fight himself, he can definitely have an impact with his oval prowess. With that said, it's been my pleasure to bring you the Formula Indy Series. We thank everybody so very much for tuning it in. Again, if you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel. We also want to thank the Sim Racing Warehouse. The Formula Indy Series is brought to you by the Sim Racing Warehouse. If you're looking to take your sim rig to the next level, give them a check out. That is the Sim Racing Warehouse for high quality wheels and pedals to accessories that bring the track right into your home. They've got everything you need to race harder, smarter, and faster. Plus, for a limited time, you can save with a 5% off coupon. Just type in SRW House in the coupon code section at checkout and save even more. All the links are in the description. And we also want to thank the people that really make it possible. The first responders, the police, the firemen, the military, all of those who do everything in the middle of the night to keep us safe, down to the EMTs that drive the ambulance and the nurses that unload you when you get there. For Mark Murphy, I'm Mark Murphy. For Stevie Larkamp and Jacob Collins, our founder, Gary Godso, have a great night, y'all. Keep going fast, having fun, and we'll see you at the next one.